Trivia, the #1 source of embarrassment for people in bars since the dawn of time. And it's also something that can cover literally any topic. So in order to make the namesake of this channel more applicable, we're going to do some car trivia today. But that's something I can't necessarily do on my own. So I'm gonna need someone else to help me out. Preferably from like North Carolina. But despite me wearing my NASCAR shirt today, no one has shown up yet. So I guess I'm gonna have to use my rare and special North Carolina call. Here goes. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
What? Where?
I didn't actually think that was gonna work.
Can I at least get Bojangles or something?
We'll talk about it later. Best I can do is KFC. What? But this is my friend Zane. You can find him on Instagram and on YouTube at Average Ace Golf. He does golf content, in case that wasn't clear.
Hi.
We are great at naming channels that describe immediately what we do on said channel. And he's gonna be doing some car trivia with me today.
I am?
Yeah, I didn't explain anything about what we're doing. So here he is.
I just heard there was Popeyes.
But I bet you came pre-prepared with a list of questions like most of the time.
Well, I mean, I always have questions.
All right, so who do you want to go first?
I can do that.
All right, let's do it. I can't
Car
wait
questions
to
here.
get all of these wrong probably and embarrass myself.
All right, well, let's start off with an easy one then. Everyone knows that Henry Ford founded Ford Motor Company, but what duo of race car driver and auto engineer founded Chevrolet? And you get a half point for each.
I actually don't know. I know I think I've heard of the names in like stories, but I don't know the answer, honestly. I don't know either one.
The answer is Louis Chevrolet. Probably should have gotten
Yeah,
that.
that should have probably been obvious.
And William C. Durant.
Okay, interestingly, I know I've heard of the name William C. Durant, but I don't know if I've heard Louis Chevrolet, at least not that I can remember. So that's super random. You'd think that would have been the one I would know?
You would think.
Are you ready for your first question, good sir?
No, but go ahead.
Okay, good. So, what do the numbers stand for in the Ferrari F355?
Engine displacement?
I'll give you a half point for that, unless you can guess what the last one is. So the 3-5 is, what do you think the last 5 is?
No idea.
Okay, so it's weird. Ferrari bounces around. Normally, the last number is the number of cylinders on the car. So like 458, it's a 4.5 liter, 8 cylinder, or same thing with like the 348, 3.4, or 8 cylinder. But on the 355, they switched over to 3 or 5, I keep saying 3, where's that coming from? 5 valves per cylinder. And so that was to show that it had five valves per cylinder. So 3.5, 5 valve.
You see, if it had been an even number like 4, 6, or 8, I would have guessed.
Right. Right,
yeah.
exactly.
I'm
So
like,
that's
it's not gonna be a 5-cylinder.
That's why I chose this one specifically, yeah. You got the first half of that right. So it was like, that was a half point. Okay,
Yeah.
So I forgot I was gonna do like this random bonus question. So you have another opportunity to make a whole point here if you can get this one.
Okay.
Just because it's also a Ferrari question. So Ferrari F40s were only ever painted in red. So if you see a different color of Ferrari F40, you know that was painted after it was sold. But how can you tell if an F40 has been repainted even if it's red? I don't expect you to know the answer to this one, but the answer's floating out there somewhere, supposedly.
I'm gonna assume there's a mark somewhere in the paint, but...
That's a really good guess, but no. I have heard, supposedly, that they were so focused on weight saving with the F40, that's why the interior sucks for being such an expensive car, that they put specifically, intentionally, really thin paint on it. So apparently you can subtly see the texture of the carbon fiber weave with the factory paint because it's so thin. If it's been repainted, normally the paint's thick enough you can't see that. It's just a random little tidbit, apparently.
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
All right, question 2. With the wild success of the movie Ford versus Ferrari, everyone knows about Ken Miles being the driver who was unfortunately strategized out of a win in the 1966 Le Mans. Who was his driving partner?
I have a guess, but I feel like he might have been in the second car that actually ended up winning. Was it Dan Gurney?
It was not.
I know that I know this, but I can't remember which racing driver from the 60s it is. I know it's one of them that's semi-well known.
One more chance for half credit. I'll I'll give you half a point if you get it on the second one.
Was it Phil Hill?
It was not. It was Denny Holm.
Oh, okay. See, this is the thing. When you go back into the 60s stories, so many of these guys show up in like every story that I can't remember who goes where half the time. Because I know the other car was Bruce McLaren, and that might have been Dan Gurney. I thought Dan Gurney was in one of them, but I think there was 4 cars in that race total.
Yeah.
So, anyway, regardless.
So that's 2 X's for Colton.
I know. And you got half a point in the first one, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Hoping to get a full point this time.
Okay. Where was the world's first paved road made specifically for cars?
That's a really good question. Is it like a country, or do I have to go like city?
I mean, I have written down city, but you can start with country.
I'm gonna go Berlin, Germany.
Okay, so X on the country. So I'll give you an opportunity.
Like city's right, but the country?
No, but I'll give you an opportunity to make a half point here. So it was in New York City. Which borough in New York was the paved road in?
Bronx.
No, it was in Queens, which would not have been my guess. I mean, you would think, I guess like my first thought would just be Manhattan because money or something.
I felt like that was gonna be too obvious, so.
Right, exactly. But no, it's Queens as it
Okay.
turns out. So that's an X for Zane.
Gosh dang it.
So I was gonna say we're even, but I'm still losing.
Question 3. The Benz Velo was the world's first production car. Made back in 1894, what was the top speed that this vehicle could reach?
I know I've heard random statistics about it, but I don't know if I've ever specifically heard the top speed. Was it 9 miles an hour?
No, I will give you one more chance for a half point.
Don't even think it was double digits. 7.
That's an X for Colton.
Dang it.
It clocked in at a whopping 12 miles an hour.
Okay, so it was double digits. I mean, I knew it was super low, and it was like, what, like 1 horsepower or something like that. There's actually a really interesting story about it where his, what was it, Carl Benz, I think, his wife, like, took it on the world's first road trip to, like, as like a marketing strategy for it. It was interesting. Apparently,
And
a
yeah,
lot
you
of
didn't
things
even know the
happened.
top speed of the
No, I didn't know the top speed, but I knew it was the world's first road trip vehicle. I'm terrible at this. So, third question for you, Zane, which I think you will get.
No promises.
How does a diesel engine differ from a gasoline engine in function?
Well, I mean,
It's not a super specific question, but I mean, if you get anywhere near, I'll just give it to you for a full point.
Well, instead of spark plugs igniting the air and fuel mixture, you have compression that basically ignites that mixture instead.
Sort of. So what is it? So I'll give you the full point if you can answer. So other than spark plugs, what is it used? Because just combustion is not enough, just compression is not enough to actually ignite that. So what else does it use to make that happen?
I mean, it has a glow plug.
Yes, that's it. Because yeah, glow plugs provide enough heat that the compression is able to make it combust. Okay. So good job, Zane's still winning.
Well, I mean, you gave me like the easiest question ever.
I knew that was easy, but some people like, I've seen this happen before where people are like, oh, it's, how does it work? Because the other difference, if I'm not mistaken, which it could be wrong, I've heard this before, but I believe also when you throttle, like the throttle on a diesel engine is adding more fuel rather than more air. Like on a gasoline engine, what you're really doing is adding more air when you open the throttle, and then the car introduces more fuel to make up for that. And I believe it's reverse on a diesel.
All right, well, I'm glad that I got that one right. Otherwise, I would have been the one looking stupid.
Yep. The next question's
now I get
also
to keep
easy.
him in his natural habitat.
Okay,
so.
perfect.
All right, question 4. This is a little bit of an obscure one.
Okay.
Apparently I can't talk. The Mazda 6 was once recalled for a particularly strange reason in 2011.
Before you even say anything, I know the answer to this.
Okay.
Gasoline vapors attracted spiders to the car.
Yes.
Yep. I literally, I thought about doing that same question. So that's hilarious. But yeah, it was an issue with the evap or something like that, wasn't it? Where the spiders were attracted to it because like gasoline vapor would come out and they would block like the charcoal canister or something.
So that was part of it.
Yeah.
And also the factory where they were made happened to be close to an area that spiders tend to be, habitated in. So, spiders would find their way into the production process. Then they could create webs in areas that could potentially be a fire hazard. So.
Yes. Okay, so
Hey, you got a point.
I did know that one, shockingly. Thanks, Donut Media. That's the only reason why I know that. I'm thinking about just replacing this question with another recall question because this question's ridiculously easy. And I'm losing, so I'm about to change this game to my favor. So,
Your channel, your rules.
all right, cool. So there was also a particularly weird recall on Mercedes-Benz cars of, I think it was like the 90s.
I can already tell you I'm gonna get this wrong.
Okay. So this is gonna be really broad, so you just have to give like a general answer. They did something incredibly cool. We appreciate it. They did something incredibly weird with the wiring in the cars. Just give a general answer on what you think the issue with the wiring on these cars is over time.
What kind of vehicle was it?
I think it was over a lot of their models, like the E-Class, S-Class, like a wide range of Mercedes-Benz. It was not like one specific model.
Mostly focused around like consumer vehicles?
Yes, yeah, exactly. They were consumer vehicles. It causes a lot of wiring gremlins over time. I'm not gonna give you a time limit for this one because it's a broad question.
I'm gonna guess that they painted somewhere where they shouldn't have, so that way grounding was an issue.
That's a really good guess. So that is a good guess. That's not what it is, but I can totally see that being something that a manufacturer had done. So what they actually did, there was, I believe it was like governmentally pushed that certain parts of the manufacturing process needed to be biodegradable. So they used biodegradable wiring, like sheaths, basically, that over time would erode away and leave exposed wire that then would short a bunch of different things. So
okay, I feel like I've heard that before, but I completely forgot about that.
yeah, and I don't know if that's specifically precisely what happened, if it was like wiring sheath, but essentially they would start to degrade while they were still in the car and then cause a bunch of wiring.
That's what you want to happen.
Yeah, typically. It's a really good thing when your wiring disintegrates.
Electronics school with Colton and Zane.
There's two things you want your wires to do. It's move electricity and disintegrate over time.
Well, because you gave me a very simple one, I feel like I should give you a really simple one too. So if you get this wrong, we are ending this video now. I don't even care that's your channel. We are ending this video wrong, or right now.
Wrong. We're gonna end it wrong. That'll happen regardless.
End it wrong.
That will always happen.
I told you I couldn't talk. Lamborghini is owned by what other popular automotive conglomerate?
Volkswagen. I think technically Audi actually like purchased Lamborghini specifically, but it's under the Volkswagen group. Yeah.
See, told you, easy question.
Yeah. The one that I skipped in order to give you the Mercedes question was actually also a Volkswagen question. Just out of curiosity, I'm sure you'll get this answer correct. This is why I skipped it. What does Volkswagen translate to in English?
People's car?
Exactly. So that wasn't the official question, but that was what I was gonna ask you. And I was like, that's way too easy.
Ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I hope you didn't say something Nazi related.
No promises.
This is like a simple question, and I've got two parts of it also. So, what is the best-selling car of all time?
Is it Ford Mustang?
Is that your actual answer?
Is it the Camaro?
Is that your actual answer?
That was my actual answer, yeah.
The Camaro, best-selling car of all time? Car? Just like a car in general?
I mean, what?
I'm not talking about sports cars or anything. Just car, like any car.
Vehicle?
Yeah, yeah. No, it doesn't have to be like a sports car. Like it could be a truck or what, just a passenger vehicle.
Okay, Ford F-150.
In America, that might be the case, but the best-selling car of, I think that is actually like currently the best-selling vehicle is Ford F-Series trucks. But the best-selling car, the car that has sold the most of all time, is the Toyota Corolla.
I did not know that.
If you think about all of like the random little, I mean,
options, yeah.
Well, exactly. And there's all, and in a lot of different countries, like a base model Corolla like that is probably most of the cars you see on the road. So that kind of makes sense. But also they've made them for a long time, so there's that too. But I have a B part to this question. You have a chance to win.
Half a point?
Half a point.
And I'm at, what, 1.5?
You're at 1.5 right now, so we could be tied if you win this.
Okay.
So I will give you a hint on this to start with. So what is the best-selling vehicle of all time? It is not a car. It's not a four-wheeled vehicle.
Not a four-wheeled vehicle. Some form of Harley Davidson? I don't know.
Again, maybe in America, you're thinking too American.
I am from North Carolina.
Yeah, he's from North Carolina. You're like, that's half the vehicles I see on the road in my town.
Ford F-150s, Mustangs, and Harley Davidson.
Yeah, I ain't even never seen a Corolla.
There's a town in North Carolina called Corolla that's spelled the same way.
Yeah, so I mean,
so we don't even know how to say it, right?
Yeah, right. I thought you were gonna say Corolla. I thought you meant Corolla. All right, I'll give you one more chance. Just if you can just name the manufacturer. So it's not a four-wheeled vehicle, like I said. What manufacturer do you think made the best-selling vehicle of all time? And I'll give you the point.
I feel like I want to go back to Volkswagen.
No, I don't think that Volkswagen themselves has really made two-wheeled vehicles. They own Ducati, but no, it's Honda.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And it's the Honda Cub. It's like a weird little 50cc.
I'm actually familiar with that. I didn't realize that was the
best-selling vehicle of all time was like the Honda Cub. That series of motorcycles, they've gone from like 50 up to 125 cc's. A bunch of them, probably most of them, were in like the 90cc range. Yeah, that's the best-selling vehicle ever. Honda.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
That's an X for me, dog.
I'm winning now. Imagine that.
I feel like you will probably get this one.
Okay.
Question 6. Well, my phone is also at 6%. So while Maruti Suzuki is the largest auto company in India, it is owned by Japanese company Suzuki. What is the largest wholly Indian-based automotive company?
Tata?
Yep.
Yeah. That to be fair though, that is probably the only guess I would have had. But they own a lot of stuff. They own, I believe they own Jaguar, Range Rover right now, and Lotus, and a couple other random companies. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so you are now at 3. I got some catching up to do.
I don't know if you're gonna get this one.
Probably not.
But
love the confidence, right?
If you think really hard, use your brain power. I know you don't have much, but neither do I. Takes one to know one. It's what we call even lack of
I mean, just remember who's winning right now, so.
Me?
You're struggling to remember that?
I honestly thought that was supposed to be an insult, like, well, remember who's winning right now.
Yeah.
Not me.
Self-deprecating humor.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page now. What was the first dual overhead cam V8 ever offered in a GM vehicle? Or I guess like what vehicle was the first dual overhead cam V8 offered in GM's history?
Was it in one of the old Blazers?
No, I don't think that there's ever been a Blazer with a dual overhead cam. Interestingly. Okay. A dual overhead cam V8 too is what I specifically specified, so. But I don't think there's, actually I don't even know if there's ever been a dual overhead cam other than the inline 6 4.2 in a Blazer series vehicle, and that was a Trailblazer. I don't know that for certain, but that is not the answer. Would you like to take a second swing at it for half a point?
No, I would not.
Okay. I
don't want to embarrass myself further.
Well, here's the thing. So it's interesting because even the current Corvette doesn't use a dual overhead cam on the base model Corvette. That's still a pushrod. I think it's the LT4 that's in that right now. But ironically, the Corvette currently that does have a dual overhead cam, the Z06, the engine that's in that car is named after this one. They have the same name, which is the LT5. First dual overhead cam V8 ever was available in the C4 ZR1 Corvette. And it was designed by Lotus in conjunction with General Motors. It was a 5.7 liter dual overhead cam V8.
Did not know that.
Yeah, and they didn't make another one for like 30 years. Kind of interesting.
Question 7. Volkswagen once made a mail van that was affectionately named Fridolin due to its weird proportions
very
and
affectionate.
awkward looking design. What was either of the likely reasonings behind the name?
Good question. I don't know what the name means, so that doesn't help me.
Fridolin is basically a name. It's like Frederick, or, you know, it's just a name.
One of the reasonings behind the name.
Yes, why was this mail van named this? Because I want to say it was like the Type 147.
Yeah, I do think the mail van was the Type 147. That's the only name that I knew related to it.
But its nickname was Fridolin, so why?
Did it have a friendly looking exterior?
It had an interesting looking exterior.
Okay, so that's a no basically on that. So I don't know, I'm not sure.
All right, do you have any guesses?
Not really past just the having like a smiley front end or something like that. Or like,
So
if it was named after like a woman, I would think maybe like, oh, it has like wide wheel arches in the back or something like that. But I don't have a specific answer for that.
So, you know, it is because it just had a very weird look to it. The proportions were weird.
Okay.
And like the body style was weird, but
And they were like Frederick, that guy's such a weirdo.
yeah, so I'll give you the two potential reasons why they called it this. So,
Okay.
one rumor was that the name Fridolin came from a Volkswagen employee who affectionately exclaimed that the car looked like a colleague with that surname.
That's so rude. That's so rude.
It's like, dude, it looks like Fridolin. And
imagine if like we saw a Nissan Juke and I was like, dude, it's like Zane. It's like so rude.
And then the other rumor is just that the name is based on a German word for a little boy or child. So
Okay. That's also creepy. Like, that looks like a little boy. Like, are you okay?
no, haven't been in years.
I think we need to take Heinz to the loony bin. And Colton wins the world record for worst German accent in history. Number 7 question. So I have a few specifically in mind. Can you name at least 1 out of 3 famous road legal supercars that used Formula 1 based engines?
No.
For each one you could name, I would give you a half a point. You can just take some wild guesses. I mean, think about some really exotic supercars.
I don't have a whole ton of knowledge on supercars, if I'm being rather honest. So
I don't know half as much as a lot of people either. I used to be more into supercars when I was younger, and then I realized I'll never be able to afford one.
Bugatti Veyron?
No.
Chiron?
Why did you guess that after Veyron? They have like the same engine.
I don't know.
Okay, forget that. Go for something different. And remember, Formula 1 has used V6s all the way up to like V12s. So it could be anything.
Lamborghini Huracan?
No, but that's a good guess. I will give you this. There is a famous V10 supercar that does use a Formula 1 based engine, one of which I have on here. It's not a Lamborghini, but it does have a V10.
Well, I mean, I already took 3 guesses, so I don't.
Oh no, I'll give you this. So I'll give you like 2 more.
Man, I don't deserve.
Okay.
After my guesses, I do not.
I'll give you a half a point if you can get that after that hint though. A V10. That kind of sounds V10-esque.
Kind of.
I think it's a bike, but it is a V10 supercar that is not a Lamborghini that does have a Formula 1 based engine.
That is not a Lamborghini.
Not a Lamborghini. So yeah, it's not a brand that you would probably immediately think of.
Not a brand that I would normally think of.
Let me not throw you off more with that. What I mean is, it's not like, oh, it's Suzuki, but like, it's a brand that doesn't normally make like hardcore, like mid-engine supercars. They do make a lot of sports cars and stuff like that, and like high-performance, expensive cars, but they don't normally make supercars. They only have a few times.
I don't even have a guess, man.
It's German.
I mean, I feel like you're pointing me towards Audi.
If you said the R8, that has the Lamborghini engine in it. The R8 V10. So that's the same engine, but no.
I know that.
Okay.
That was one that I did know. I'm like, it can't be the R8.
It's not. So, okay. All right. Well, here's the 3 that I specifically put on here.
But it's like, here, prove you're stupid again.
I just wanted to give you a chance for at least a half a point on these.
I know I wasn't gonna get it.
Okay, well, I know it's not like the easiest question in the world. That's why I had it set up so you could get a half a point for each one. But the 3 that I was thinking of specifically, the Mercedes AMG 1, which is the cover car on Horizon 5, that has the current AMG F1 engine as a base. None of these are like, oh, they took the F1 engine and stuck it in the car with no modifications. The one I was talking about, which is a German car, which this might make you mad that you didn't get this, the Porsche Carrera GT. German V10 supercar.
Yeah.
It's not, that's why I was like, it might not be what you think of immediately. Because Porsche they don't make like supercars in the same way as often as like Lamborghini or Ferrari or something like that. It's more like,
Yeah.
you know, the 911s are not like,
No.
I wouldn't call them like supercars necessarily.
Yeah, I'm not really disappointed that I didn't get that.
Okay. The other one I was thinking of was the Ferrari F50, but there's like a handful of like, oh, supposedly this is the, but those are three where like, yes, they are based on Formula One engine.
Okay, I'm not doing so great.
How many points do you have right now? Still 2?
1.5, I think. Yeah, you have twice the amount of points that I do, so.
Okay.
But
That's good
there's
because-
3 questions left.
That's probably good because my channel is named Colton Does Cars and yours is Average Ace Golf. If this was golf questions, I would be like,
Yeah,
like,
I'll invite you on next for golf.
yeah, you should be like, what is a famous drink that is half lemonade and half sweet tea? It is named after a golfer. Who was that golfer? I'm like, Tiger Woods?
Jack Nicklaus.
I want to say John Mulaney. It's like not even in the right realm.
Question 8. I think you'll get this one.
Okay.
I'd actually be surprised if you didn't. What Asian brand, primarily known in the United States as a consumer electronics brand, manufactures vehicles for overseas use? Bonus point if you can name the other automotive company that's the primary owner and manufacturer.
They make vehicles, like, so as in like passenger vehicles?
Yes.
Okay. And they're primarily known as a electronics company?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, my first guess is Yamaha. That's not it.
That is not it.
See, if I don't get the point, that's fine, but I'm trying to think. This must be up. Is it Daihatsu?
Nope.
Because I mean, all of these companies have made some, like the monitor for my security system that the dude that owned the house before, it's a Hyundai monitor, which is, I know that's South Korean, but like not a brand you'd think of for making electronics, but I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sure I'll be mad when you tell me.
Okay. Do you have any guess for like the actual company that is the primary shareholder and, you know,
Primary shareholder.
and has a lot to do with like the design and manufacturing process?
It's hard to say because I don't even know what the company is yet.
If you have any guess for that, I'll give you a half point, or I will give you this company and then you can guess.
How about you
on
give
it.
me that company first?
Okay.
And then I'll see if I can even remotely think of something.
Renault.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Wait, you said it was a Japanese company?
No, Asian.
Renault is French.
Renault is French, yes.
Oh, okay.
But
well,
they own.
oh, Renault's the parent company. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying that was the company that made the electronics, and I was like, Zane, what?
No.
Okay, that makes so much more sense. I was like, what? Okay, Renault owns the company.
The great Mongolian manufacturer Renault.
I'm not that good at trying to guess the French manufacturer or doing the accent. I'm really making myself look great at these accents in this video. So that's the parent company? I got no idea what they would own, honestly.
So, last hint, you will still get a half point if you get it, but
You don't have to give me, I've
This-
guessed like both wrong already, but
this company does not really have a namesake in the actual automotive company name anymore, but it used to up until last year.
until last year.
10 seconds.
Daewoo? I have no idea, man. I got nothing.
Tapping out.
Yeah.
Samsung.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they've helped develop like self-driving and stuff like that on a couple things, I think. So what is,
They actually have production car models
Yeah.
over in Korea. And that was actually something that I learned from a friend of mine that went over to Korea. He's
Interesting.
like,
Yeah,
You know, like most cars that you see there are Samsung. Like, I'm like, I never would have even known that.
yeah, I would not have guessed that at all. I had no idea. Interesting. So I definitely learned something new with that one. That's cool. I got a 2-part question for you.
Okay.
What does Subaru's WRX and STI stand for? They're both acronyms.
WRX, I always want to say World Rallycross, but I know
It is World Rally.
But I know the X does not stand for a cross. It's not extreme, is it?
It's not extreme. I'll give you another chance at the X just because that's a weird letter and you got the first two. But it's just, if you think about,
World Racing Xylophone.
no, but like when companies use an X, what is a word they commonly use an X for?
Experience.
I'll give it to you. It's experimental because you know how a ton
Okay,
of companies will use an X and they drop the E?
Yes.
That's why I'm like, okay, super close. Okay, so I'll give you WRX. That's half a point.
So I kind of knew what it was, but I always forget what the X is. I always forget.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know it's one of those EX words, but
I thought it was World Rally Cross for a long time too, especially because there is a rally series that's called WRX. And I think in my mind, I just got that and WRC mixed up. Okay, so then STI, what does that stand for?
Subaru.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Gosh, why am I blanking on this? I know this.
Do you know what the I stands for?
I'm blanking on everything right now.
Okay.
Pressure. I'm gonna hate myself when you say what this is if I don't.
It's not like, it's not, at least the T is not like a word that's used often, to be fair. At least not that form of that word. Don't go too in depth with what I'm saying right now. You'll just make it harder for yourself.
Technology.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, it's Technica. So that's why I said that is not used that often. But yes, so Subaru Technica.
Industries? No.
You're so, try one more time. You're so like close. It's not Industries.
Incorporated.
No, okay, all right. Yeah.
I knew I was closer with Industries, but
it's Subaru Technica International.
Okay, yeah.
Which is kind of, it's a weird acronym. Like if it, you would never think. But
I knew it, but I was blanking on it so hard. I'm like, what am I
Well,
doing?
the full thing is not said that often, but on older STIs, like the 04s, under the STI logo, it was printed on like the front bumper. Okay.
So I got a half point?
Yes, you got a half point, so you're at 2.
Okay. All right.
I'm still at 3, aren't I? Or am I at 4?
You are at 3, and I don't think you're gonna get this one.
Okay.
Not because I doubt his car knowledge, but because I doubt his knowledge in this field, as you will see.
Not because I doubt his car knowledge, I just think he's an idiot in most other regards. Which, facts.
What type of car did Blake Griffin dunk over in the 2011 NBA Slam Dunk Contest?
2011.
Yes.
And this has got to be like a big thing. Like it's not going to be like, oh my gosh, he dunked over a 2011 Toyota Tacoma. Like, okay, well, can I ask one clarification question without going too specific? Is it like impressive because it's a large vehicle, or is it like?
It is a vehicle.
Okay, well, I got that because the only reason why I didn't really want you to clarify too much. I just think there's 2 directions it could go.
The vehicle itself is not particularly noteworthy. It's
not particularly noteworthy?
No.
That makes it so much harder. There's probably just some stupid sponsorship then, like a Nissan Altima. He dunked over in 2011. I feel like it would have been a vehicle that either released or was refreshed in 2011, probably. I would think, otherwise this manufacturer is stupid for not choosing something else.
Help him out down in the comments below.
Because the way I would have guessed was either like, it's like a 2011, at the time, there would have been like a Lamborghini Aventador. Like that was the brand that like, whoa, it's so expensive and he jumps over. Or it would be like an F350 because it's huge and to jump over, like you would have to be very talented. I'm guessing it's not either of those angles.
It is not.
Okay. I'm just gonna guess something random. Is it 2011 Nissan Maxima?
It is not, but you are right along with the right lines. It's a 2011 Kia Optima.
Okay, and I think that did refresh around that time. So I guess that kind of makes, or it dropped. I don't remember. I guess that kind of makes sense.
Everybody hypes up that dunk. He literally jumps over the hood of it. He doesn't even jump over like the tall part.
I'm pretty sure even I could do that, and I'm way too white to have any vertical whatsoever.
I had to include that because I figured he would get it wrong, and just because I figured I'd probably be down at this point in the round, I would need to do that.
So question 9 for you. I'm gonna give you this because I think you will get this one.
Okay.
What company known for producing motorcycles and power sports vehicles helped design both the Toyota 2JZ and the V10 engine found in the Lexus LFA?
Yamaha.
Yes. That was. I figured that was immediately where your brain would go to. And I think most people would, unless they overthought it and they're like, Kawasaki? I don't know.
Yeah, I was starting to overthink. I'm like, I'm just going with my
Yamaha.
gut.
Yamaha has done a lot of development on cars like that.
Yamaha has done everything.
Yeah, considering they also make instruments and a bunch of different random technological stuff and like metal parts. Yeah, Yamaha's everywhere, so good job. So now we're tied.
We're tied. Going into the final question. All right. I think you should get this one though. So I'm feeling a little bit nervous about my chances on the last question Because I don't know what he has planned for me.
I have a few options, so I'll try to be fair with like equal difficulty to this.
According to last year's data, what is the current largest manufacturer of cars by units made?
By units made and manufacturer of cars.
Yes, and I'm not offering any hints on this one.
I've seen how I'm overthinking this. I'm like, what about this company? I am going to guess Toyota?
It is Toyota.
Yes! Oh, okay. Because here's how I started to overthink. I was like, it's probably Toyota or Honda. Ford, potentially, because they have like the European market and stuff like that. But I was like, I don't really think it's Ford. But then I was like, oh, but in Japan, Daihatsu sells a ton of like, they're like a bigger company there than here. And then I was like, oh man, but what about China? There's like Geely. And I'm like, crap. And then, okay, so it is Toyota.
So, you can get a bonus half point
Okay.
if you guess the amount of units made last year.
Total units made by Toyota.
Yes.
I'm gonna guess 1.5 million. No?
That's not even close.
Well, okay, maybe this is only the United States, so that could be why. But I thought like Subaru, at least within like one of the last few years, sold like 500,000 vehicles. That might have only been in the United States. I don't remember. So
yeah, I was gonna
in
say,
my mind, I was thinking that was world market, and I'm like, Toyota's gonna be a lot more than that. But okay, so what is it?
10.5 million.
Okay, well that makes sense. Yeah.
You missed the zero in the middle.
Yeah, apparently. Okay.
Okay, so you got it right, but no bonus points. So
is that 1 point or a half point?
that's 1 point.
Okay, so I'm at 4. You're
at 4.
3.
I'm at 3. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Do you have one with a half point that could potentially be a tiebreaker? Because you got one with an extra half point. So do you have one that's kind of a two-part question that if I get one part right, I get 1 point? And then
Sure, I can do that with this question.
All right.
What joint venture between two manufacturers previously owned the plant where Teslas are now built? It was a joint venture between two manufacturers, and if you just think about any of those, but it was a sizable joint venture. It wasn't like, you know, like something like Toyota and Subaru built the 86 and the BRZ. It was like multiple different vehicles, and it went on for a long time too. You might have to use some brain power for this, but it's...
I don't have much.
Me neither, so I relate, but... If you can't figure this out at all, well, first of all, if you get one of them, I'll give you a half point. And if you can't get the other, I'll give you an opportunity with a second question, because I have these bonus questions. How about that? So for each manufacturer you guess, you get a half point. And if you can only get one, or if you get none, I'll give you an auxiliary question.
I feel like at least one of the companies is American.
Yes, I will say, yes it is. Which makes sense, because it's the United States.
But I'm trying to think of collaborations that have happened between American companies and potentially foreign companies.
Yes.
I'm struggling to think of them, but I do feel like it would be an Asian company being the coast that it's on.
I'll give you this hint. It is not two American companies.
Yeah.
So first of all,
thinking one American company, one Asian company.
Right.
Where my mind was going.
I'm just saying that because like Ford and Chevy, I don't think they've ever done like a vehicle together, but they did do like the 10-speed transmission. There's been stuff like that, but it is an American company and a foreign country company.
I'm gonna say Chevy and Toyota.
Yes, that is it. I mean, basically, it's GM and Toyota.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so that's a point.
Like my last question, I gave you an opportunity for 1.5 points.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I feel
okay.
like I need one
Okay.
right here to see if I can potentially edge you out.
What car did GM introduce the North Star V8 engine in? And there's no hints.
My lack of knowledge is really going to shine through on this one.
Well, I guess first of all, what brand do you think of immediately with North Star? Like, this is not a hint, but of GM brands. It's not as hard as you think it is, that part of it.
And I can't get a hint as to the year or anything.
I actually don't know what year it was off the top of my head. I believe it was in the 90s,
Okay.
but I don't know. I don't know the exact year.
It wasn't the Camaro Firebird?
No, it was not. So, I guess just for fun. So it was a Cadillac. So the North Star engine was supposed to be a Cadillac exclusive.
Okay.
Later on, it also got put into the Oldsmobile Aurora, the first generation, and they called it the Aurora V8 to be like, that's North Star's Cadillac. It's the same base engine though. There's like a couple differences, but it was a Cadillac in the 90s, and it was kind of like a flagship model. What do you think it was?
I mean, I'll just go Escalade since it's a big vehicle.
It was the Cadillac Elante.
Would not have guessed that.
Yeah, because that was supposed to be their like flagship, like, oh, the technology. And the first couple engines they put in it, they made like 170 and like 190 horsepower. And they were trying to like market it with like the Mercedes SLs, and like that didn't really work. Okay, so we're still tied. I have one more question, but if you, let's see. If you get this question right, then you can give me an auxiliary question. If you don't get this question right, then I guess, I don't know, that doesn't seem fair though. I don't know, I'm trying to think of a way to make it fair.
This is like NFL's overtime rules last year.
Right? I guess you would have to come up with an auxiliary question.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want me to, or do you want to go first on that?
No, you go ahead and ask me a question.
Okay, I was just wondering because I asked you the last one.
We'll go by NFL's overtime rules. If I can't get it right, then you win.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, okay, all right. But
if I get this right, you get no chance of redemption.
Okay, okay, all right. A version of the engine powering the Noble M600 was also found in what Swedish car? I will say, again, I'm not gonna go crazy, like, hint on this. Swedish car, it's not Koenigsegg or something like that. It's not like another crazy supercar. But the Noble M600, the engine in that, the base engine, was also found in another Swedish car.
I don't even know if I can think of any Swedish car brands off the top of my head.
I think you can, you just don't think of them all the time.
If I get the brand, do I get half a point?
No. Well, okay. Just get the brand first and I'll tell you if you're right, okay? And then you can guess the model. And then if you get the model correct, you win. And I will help you a little bit with the model, okay? But get the brand first.
Volvo.
It is Volvo. Okay. So what model of Volvo did it come in? And as far as like a hint on that, I'm trying to think of how I can like...
I'm trying to think of Volvo models.
I'm trying to think of a hint that's like not overly helpful, but still does something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't want to be like, it wasn't any of these, but I also don't want to be like, it came in red. You know? Okay. It was not a sports car, is what I will say. Like, not a performance-based car. And it was a Volvo.
The first thing that came to mind was the Q60, if that's...
I don't think that's a Volvo model. There's the V60,
or, yeah.
S60, and XC60. But
XC60 was the one I was thinking of.
You unfortunately do not get the point, but you were so close. It's the XC90.
Okay.
XC90 had a V8 engine option, apparently. And the one in the Noble was like super massaged. It had twin turbos, made like 650 horsepower or something.
All right, I accept these terms. Like the
Good
shirt,
job.
by the way.
What is it?
I like the shirt, by the way.
Yeah, I like your state you live in. Probably, never been there.
I need some Bojangles.
And on that note, I'm gonna, oh gosh. But thank you, Zane, so much for being in this video and for helping to prove that we both are far stupider than we would like to believe, but we were already aware of.
Yeah, anytime you need somebody to come on this channel and make you look smarter, I'm your guy.
I don't know if you succeeded at that. You asked me what the name of the founder of Chevrolet was, and I couldn't even guess a name and last name Chevrolet. So I don't know.
You're like, all right, book trivia. Who helped Tom Sawyer build the raft? Let's go for just like half a point here. Let's say Tom's friend.
I'm gonna guess Nicolas Cage.
This video has devolved into something that I do not recognize. So on that note, we are going to say goodbye, but click that like button if you happen to like this. Even if you didn't like it, click that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to this guy and this guy if you like golf. If not, that's okay too.
If you don't like golf, you can still subscribe to him. It's optional.
You can. Or I can just pay for fake subscribers, probably, somehow, I don't know. I wouldn't know anything about that. Yes, but hit that bell icon so you're notified of his new uploads. Colton, thanks for having me on the channel. Look forward to next time.
Zane, thanks for coming on the channel. And on that note, we will see you all next.
This is a 2 billion year old or something, I don't know. Do I look smart?
This is inconvenient. This is a 2011 Ford Mustang GT. But not just any 2011 Ford Mustang GT, because it is my 2011 Ford Mustang GT. And today, I'm gonna show you around this 2011 Ford Mustang GT, all of its quirks and features.
Twerks?
Quirks and features.
Twerks and features?
Go to Cars and Bids.
You did call it a dump truck earlier.
Cars and Bids. Or, I will find you and send threatening notes to your family. Because...
Good. I would have beat you up.
I'd like to see you try. Actually, I wouldn't, because you would do it very easily. I'm like, hey, unfair. I couldn't see after you gave me 2 black eyes at the beginning. Oh no! Ha, I made you look, loser.
You got me.
Here you go.
Look, it started raining.
Where? Who keeps on doing snap cracklies? Who?
What?
Snap cracklies.
When? Where?
Now, there. I presume that's a Harley Davidson. There's obnoxious music happening at the... Who's calling me? Oh, I should probably answer this. We popped the bumper. Oh no. Oh shoot. Oh no. Oh, someone hot glued this at some point? That's not what you're supposed to do with body work.
Do for do.
Do for day.
You better listen to me, son. All right. Ford. Hey, you know, you're just walking upstairs trying not to do your business right there.
Yep. I know what you're saying. Hard.
But I'll tell you what. I don't care how spicy that food is. Boy, that stuff sure is good.
Talk about dang old spicy food and dang old craziest food I ever had in the whole world, man. Talking about dang old all that Mexican food over there in the Satan land, the best place I ever dang old had them food every place, man. Talking about all that stuff, man.
I ain't never heard somebody speak so eloquently as you.
What are you gonna do? What? What is your problem?
Why are you telling these people we don't know what we're doing?
I said we are clearly not weirdo.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't understand your accent, man.
It is okay. I don't even know what you're saying to me right now. It's all just assumption. I'm pretty good at trying to figure out. I don't read lips, I read people's eyes.
My wife tells me that I'm great at jumping to conclusions.
It's the only thing I'm better at than being wrong.
Yeah, that's why you're the brains of this operation.
Yeah, I usually am.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I agree.
That's why most of the things that I started have failed.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Makes sense, right?
Honestly, I thought it was my fault the whole time, but now I'm pretty sure that you're the blame for everything.
Yeah, I've been part of a lot of operations that didn't involve you, and I've burnt them to the ground every single time.
Yeah, I've been involved in a lot of operations too, and normally the surgeon's like, "Why are you in here, sir?"
I'm gonna be just jumping over the edge.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you over the sound of how little brain cells you have.
Did you really just say what I think you said?
What?
I am from North Carolina.
Hi, I am North Carolina. Trivia. No one's shown up yet, so I'm gonna have to use my North Carolina call. Good mythical morning! I don't know. They're from North Carolina.
Feels like it would just be anything southern.
Yeah. Barbecue sucks!
I got
What'd you just say? Arnold Palmers are overrated! Sweet tea shouldn't give you kidney stones.
Love that chicken for papa.
Yes! Yes! That's exactly what it should be.
That has to be
That
it.
has to be it.
Where?
Okay. I'm gonna restart this.